Even though DJs aren't as important anymore in a lot of people's minds, they're not the only way like they used to be. Without the DJ playing you back in the day, then you wouldn't get heard in the club, you wouldn't get heard on the radio, none of that stuff. Nowadays, there's so many other options, but people still go to the club. And people still listen to the radio.
Gotcha.
You know, so it's like, for me, though, that's still valuable. I don't know which way a song is going to break, but I'm shooting myself in the foot if I don't at least try all the different routes.
Amen. Okay, I feel
you. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if it's going to be the DJs. I don't know if it's going to be a TikTok campaign. I don't know if it's going to be YouTube video. I don't know if it's going to be the streaming on Spotify.
That's why you got to hit all those marks.
And to see what's going to take, what's going to catch.
Welcome to Shared Information. It's your host, J.R. Mckee. I'm here with a close friend, business partner, mega entrepreneur, DJs, iconic in the music industry, over 30 years. You know what I mean? Famous for TJ DJs Conference, Ozone Awards, management on B.o.B, K-Camp, Track Beckham, one of the greatest we ever seen in the industry. TJ, man, how you doing?
I feel great now. I feel like I need to do better.
Nah, you've been doing amazing, man. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast, on this platform, sharedinfo.com. We appreciate you for coming. So, TJ, let me ask you this. You've been an entrepreneur over 30 years now. How did you start? What was your beginning? What do you feel like? What age you feel like you stepped into TJ?
I mean, I started out DJing, and that was a long time ago. And then the DJing was just really maturing in the business, you know.
Yeah.
So I went from being a DJ to a manager.
Well, wait, let me ask you this. So what gave you the inspiration to want to be a DJ?
Watching movies like Breaking and Beat Street and Crush Groove back in the day. You know, at the beginning of hip hop and rap, the DJ was the centerpiece of everything. So he was the centerpiece when it came to the music. He was the centerpiece when it came to parties. You know, and he controlled the whole vibe. And so I just wanted to be that dude.
Want to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I hear you say that's crazy is like that you saw these positive images on the film on a big screen, and one day it turned into TJ's DJs. And so I just made me think, like, I wish that we had more imagery like that.
We don't anymore, really.
Yeah, like, we need more positive images so our kids can see, like, hey, I want to be this, and it's positive. It's a DJ versus a drug dealer.
Right.
So on and so forth, like they try to portray it. So I love that you came from that.
That's all. Yeah. But, I mean, it was inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, and the inspiration they see now is the drug dealers with all the money and the dope cars and the jewelry and the women and enjoying everything.
Okay, so you were a DJ, and how did that turn into business?
I mean, I started out DJing when I was 14. Mm-hmm. And I DJed as a teenager. And then when I graduated from high school, I got a scholarship to Florida A&M University. The School of Business and Industry, SBI, in Tallahassee. So I moved to Tallahassee, went to FAM. First year I didn't DJ at all. I just was kind of getting acclimated to school and everything else. But my sophomore year, I brought my equipment down, started doing house parties, started doing clubs. And then next thing I know, there was an artist named Beatmaster Clay D, who was like a Florida legend, Miami-based legend, saw me and wanted me to go on the road with him. Yeah. And so I became his road DJ with my business mind. Then I kind of grew to his road manager and then became his personal manager. Yeah. And I did my first real introduction to the industry was renegotiating his record deal back in 1992 with Pandis Records out of Miami, Florida.
How do you end up like renegotiating the artist deal? Like, you're not a lawyer. Like, how does that happen?
Reading a lot of books. The biggest thing about the Florida scene, you know, I can't, but, you know, listening back to a lot of the stories, even when it comes to Atlanta and your Ichibans and, you know, the beginning labels in the A, there was a lot of stuff taken from artists. And so one of the first things that I learned is that none of the artists knew about publishing.
Wow.
And they didn't know about it because none of them had their publishing. And so as I'm going down there and reading the contract and going through it, I'm like, okay, well, damn, he has zero publishing, but he's the artist and he's producing the records.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And so
100%er and he getting zero.
Yeah. And so I turned a lot of people on into publishing because they didn't know about it and they didn't know how they was getting beat and how they was missing out on real money.
And you found out it from just books?
From books. You know, I mean, my favorite book is what is it, Donald Passman, All You Need to Know About the Music Business.
Yeah. And
so that was my Bible. So I would take that everywhere with me. And any spare time, I would just read
the book
over and over again. And then I had an attorney who taught me also contracts. So the first contract I negotiated, I didn't have an attorney and I had no education on it, but it was just from reading and teaching myself, contracts in the business. But then in '93, I had another artist named Prince Raheem, and I signed him to Island Records. So that was like my first major deal. Yeah. And that was the first Florida solo bass artist to get a major deal. And so my attorney at the time would sit with me and go through line for line the contract and explain it to me. And so then he sharpened me up on how to read contracts, what to look for, how to negotiate and stuff like that.
And so how did that lead to the DJ pool?
Well, I was a DJ, of course, starting out. When I moved to Florida, I didn't know about DJ pools. Mm. I found out what a DJ pool was because as a DJ back in the day, you spit vinyl, but they didn't make all vinyl available for you to buy at the store. Only the main big singles, were available on vinyl. So the way that DJs had to get the hot new records was joining record pools. Mm-hmm. And the record pool was like an organization. It was like a go-between between the labels, mm-hmm. The artists, and then the DJs, and which were the streets and the radio. And so I would get the records from the labels. They would send them to me. Then I had DJs that paid, I was one of those DJs at first. Yeah. And so I paid a record pool out of Miami money every month so he could send me all these records. And I would get all the new records and have all the stuff that the other DJs that, as a DJ, it was a matter of being the only one with certain songs. Everybody had exclusive. We don't have exclusive nowadays. And once it's out, everybody got it. But back in the day, it was exclusive. So I paid all this money to get records from these record pools. And I lived in Tallahassee, Florida. And so the closest record pool to me was Miami. And then the next closest record pool was like out of Atlanta, Dixie Dance Kings, Jumpin' Jack. And so that was like a space of a good 10, 11 hours, you know what I'm saying? Between record pools. So I saw a void. Mm-hmm. And that's when I decided, hey, you know what? Why am I paying to get this music when let me just start my own? Right. And then I started TJ's DJs back in '94.
Yeah, so I remember, TJ, my first encounter with you about 2006. I was with Cadillac Dunn, J Money from Mississippi. We had a song, Inside Peanut Butter, Outside Jelly.
I remember that. I just didn't realize that was you.
Yeah, that was us. So I remember like the whole way there, because I believe we drove the whole way there. Like they were just explaining to us who TJ's DJs was and how important it was that we got this right. Because I think we had like paid to be on the CD and we had paid to perform. And not only us, but it was also like Rick Ross, like everybody that came out at that time on the South had to come through you. Like, how did you build that? Like, even then you were already an icon. How did you build that?
I mean, really just the relationships. The real key for me was the DJs. Yeah. And so my organization for the DJs, my relationships with the DJs allowed me to get the music out and get it heard. And so when I did the TJ's DJ stuff, nobody was really doing that. And so if you wanted to network, if you wanted to meet the DJs, if you wanted to get your music out, you had to come to my event. Yeah. And that event was something that, to be honest, I didn't even want to start.
Wow. What I
was part of, I was a record pool. So to make my name bigger, I joined a coalition of pools from all over the country, all over the United States. But the coalition had certain requirements. And one of the requirements was to have a monthly, or at least quarterly, DJ meeting. Right. And I never wanted to do that shit, man. I ain't going to no damn DJ meeting. And then they threatened to kick me out. And I kept saying I was going to do it. And they was like, okay, this is your last chance. Either you're going to do it or we're going to have to kick you out of the coalition. Yeah. And so I'm like, fuck. So then I was like, all right, cool. I did it. And I did it in Tallahassee. It was at a spot called The Moon. And they had a little side lounge on the side. It was inside the club, but it was a little small lounge inside the club called the Silver Moon Lounge. And so I did my first TJ's DJs pool meeting there. And it was like 25 people that showed up. You know, some artists, local artists, some DJs, and then, you know, me and my team. And it ended up being kind of cool.
So they were like forcing y'all to network, basically.
Yes. Okay. But I didn't understand the importance of it at the time. Yeah. You know, I really didn't. Okay. And after doing the first one, and then seeing people network and seeing DJs talk to each other and artists having first-hand conversations with the DJs and be able to get their info and people connecting from different areas, it was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah. So I did it again. Then it grew like 50 people. Then I did it again, grew 75 to 100. And then I just kept doing it every quarter. And I kept growing. And I remember it got to the point where that little small lounge, you know, it might have been 3 of these rooms. You know what I'm saying? But that small lounge was getting packed. And my man Vaughn, who ran The Moon, told me one day, TJ, man, you can't do this here no more. And I'm just like, damn, bro, like, why can't I? Yeah, why can't I do it? Yeah, like, what happened? Like, what's wrong? Yeah. And he was like, no, man, you can't. I'm like, okay, but what's wrong? He's like, man, I'm gonna move you to the big room in The Moon. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, man, that shit too big. Because it was huge. It was huge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, bro, like, no, I don't want to move. I want to stay in here. Yeah. And he told me no. And then I moved to the big room. And the first time I did it, the big room filled up. Wow. And it was like, oh my God. So then it surprised me. And it just kept growing and growing. And that shit it got so big. No, I love that because it's like sometimes you're forced to grow. Like sometimes you might not even be there yet, but people and God just push you to grow. And so shout out to Bond, whoever you are, wherever you are. Because I still was in that little room. Yeah, pushing you to grow. So that's amazing. And like I said, you ended up helping us break into what we became. And I didn't say, you mentioned Rick Ross. Yeah. But hustling, I would do a CD for the conference. It changed from pool meeting to a conference. Okay. Because it just grew so big. Yeah. And so I would do a CD every time. Right. And people would pay to get their music on the CD. I'd get the CD pressed up and pass the CD out. Everybody that came would get a bag and get the CD. Yeah. And then the DJs who DJ'd the event were only allowed during that whole event, that whole evening, to play music from the CD. Yes, that's smart. What I'm saying? And so I remember we was finishing up the CD, and an E-Class called me, E-Class on Po' Boy, but you might know him better now from...
was it Slip and Slide?
Well, no. E-Class on, oh my God, him and Callie on...
Finger Licking.
Finger Licking.
Yeah, Finger Licking.
Yeah, so E-Class owns Finger Licking. He's a serious mogul, but back in the day, he had Po' Boy. Entertainment. So Ross was signed to Po' Boy. Gotcha. So E-Class hit me like, yo, TJ, is the CD done yet? And I was like, well, we're finishing up now. I got to FedEx it tonight to get them pressed up. And he was like, yo, I got this song, new Rick Ross song. We just finished it. I want you to put it on the CD. You're the first one with it. Yeah. And so I said, okay, I put it on the CD. You know, I charged for the CD. Yeah. E-Class told me he was going to pay me the money later. Yeah. Put the song on the CD. To this day, I never got that money from E-Class, who's who's a mogul. Yeah,
we need free finger looking for life, E-Class.
But there's like so many cases like that where the first was right at DJs. Like I remember when T-Pain had "I'm Sprung." Yeah, I made the DJ. I put Sprung on the CD, and I made the DJ play Sprung every fourth song. Wow. So he played 3 songs and then come back to Sprung. Then play 3 more, come back to Sprung.
How did you know that was a hit though? Like,
I mean, shit.
You just heard it.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. I mean, that was a smash.
How long did it take from then to like become what it was?
It was fast. Immediately, matter of fact, because he performed it that day at the TJ's DJs, got on the CDs, and all these DJs will come, and all these key people from everywhere would come. So all of them left with I'm Sprung. And they took it home, and they started spinning it and everything, and Young Cash was there, and he had a deal with Universal at the time. So his A&Rs actually flew in, and they seen Pain. So immediately that next week, we had a meeting at Universal in LA.
Wow.
You know, and then it just went from there. Yeah, so then I started pressing up CDs because they didn't actually have money to press up their own CDs at the time.
So you were like low-key managing him?
I wasn't managing him. His dad was managing him.
Okay.
But I heard a smash hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That I knew was a smash hit, but it was a different sound, so people didn't understand it. But I knew it was a smash. Like, there was no way it wasn't. And so I pressed up CDs. I still got copy. Well, I got pictures on my socials, but it was a CD that said T-Pain, Teddy Pendergrass Down, and it had TJ Chapman and my phone number. And everybody that got the song got it from one of those CDs. You know what I'm saying? And we ended up having a show. We went down to Miami. I was on South Beach. I met this dude named F. Hits. He was the A&R for Jive Records. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, hey, I got a hit record. And he was like, yeah, right, whatever. And I was like, no, I got a hit record. I was like, listen, I know you don't know me, but this is a smash. And if it's not, you don't never have to talk to me again. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Well, nice meeting you. He laughed, and that was it. About an hour and a half later, my phone rang. It was Memphis. He was like, yo, I think you're right. And that's how it all started. And he ended up signing with Jive.
You say short end of the stick. Like, we all know what T-Pain went on to be, kind of like revolutionize the game with auto-tune, and you having such a pivotal role in the early stages of that. How did you feel in that moment, and how did you kind of use that as fuel, or did you say maybe management ain't for me? Like, what happened there?
Well, it had nothing to do with management because I wasn't his manager. But, you know, I felt like I was covered because I entrusted in his dad. You know, I started working with them years before that when he was with a group called the Nappy Heads. And they had a song called Robbery that was real big. So I played a big part in breaking Robbery all over the place. And then it got to some point where it was like, okay, you know what? I had a label called Wild Style back then. I also had a store. But I had a label called Wild Style, so I wanted to sign Pain. And we went through the whole process, everything, lawyers, contracts, and then it didn't happen. And so then after that, you know, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna let them do their thing. And I didn't mess with any other records. You know, I was still cool with them, and I was always cool with his dad. His dad would always come to my office, play me records, you know, and get my feedback. What they needed to do, how they sounded, what I thought. And then one day, he gave me this CD and told me to listen to it. On that CD was Sprung. I don't know what the other songs on that CD.
You don't remember at all.
I mean, I didn't get to all the other songs.
You didn't make it past Sprung.
I didn't make it past Sprung. Once I pressed play on that, I was like, oh my God. So I immediately called Shaheed. I'm like, nigga, oh, hey, yo, this it. I'm tripping because Shaheed Muslim. So first off, I'm tripping. But it's like, yo, this it. Like, this the one, this the one. And, man, you know, so I was supposed to be part of the whole situation.
Right.
And that was discussions from me and his dad because what was supposed to happen before didn't happen. And so he assured me, hey, no, TJ, this, that, cool. We met. You know what I'm saying? Pain was even with us. And so it's like, okay, cool. So then I got behind it. But then when the deal came about, there was a lot of factors. You know, Akon, he really made Sprung for Akon. He didn't make Sprung for himself.
So it was like a demo.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he was supposed to come. He came to Atlanta. He was supposed to meet with Khan and play him a song. But when he came to Atlanta, something happened and they never connected.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And so on the way back, Payne Dad told him, "Hey man, just do the song yourself."
Yeah, put that bitch out.
And he did.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's where it came from. So when we took the first meeting with Universal, all of a sudden while we there, Akon called, "Yo, what's up?" Because he heard that we was taking deals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Taking deal meetings. So then he called, "What's up?" And so then that's how they came back in the picture.
And maneuver that in that thing.
Yeah. So when the deal happened, you know, I was supposed to get, you know, a certain percentage of things.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything. But Akon knew what I did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Akon himself paid me $25,000 out of his pocket.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, he got a gift. Because he didn't have nothing to do with
what happened so far.
Yeah, to that point.
Yeah.
But of course, Akon was huge. So Jive felt like, okay, you know what? Akon could only add because shit, he was a mega star.
Right.
And Payne didn't want to do the deal through himself because he idolized Akon.
Yeah.
So the deal was set up, but he wanted to go through Convict and take his deal and put it through Convict.
So did that alter how you move? 'Cause obviously, I know feelings, nobody's happy about that. But did that alter how you move from that point?
Yeah, because I was just like, damn, you know, I didn't see how you could do something to help somebody that, you know, changed their whole fucking life.
Yeah.
And the person don't ever even tell you thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was a good-hearted person, so that shit fuck with me.
Right.
Because I didn't see how
it was possible.
Well,
it's possible. It's possible in this industry. You know what I mean? Like when you're dealing with humans, you know that's what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I think that from that point moving forward, did you start just removing your emotions from business? Like how did that affect forward? I guess.
And yeah, I mean I definitely did, but I hadn't learned.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's me being a good guy. Because even after that deal with Jive, I ended up going to St. Louis on Nelly flew me to St. Louis. He flew me out there for this Ali and Gift video. I was there for whatever the song was back in the day, Nelly, Ali, Gift. But they flew me out. Ali picked me up at the airport. He had to go work out. And so I was riding with him and Gift, but this song came on the radio. And it's like, whoa, yo, what's this?
Yeah.
Ali was like, it's nothing. I was like, man, this shit dope. I'm like, who's doing? Oh, he just a little local cat. It's nothing. So it's like, okay, I don't know about that. It just seemed weird.
Yeah.
And so when we went to the club that night, I didn't realize Ali didn't go out. Yeah. Ali didn't go out, but he went to the club and the whole city was shocked as hell because he don't go out.
Yeah.
And so as we were at the club, the DJ played that same song I heard on the radio, bro.
Yeah.
And the whole club started doing the same dance. And I'm like, yo. And I looked at him like, this is nothing. But I was out there with them. Yeah. So that very next morning, they dropped me off at the airport. Mm-hmm. As soon as I got out of the car, I called my boy Wally. Hey, bro, I'm trying to find this Pop, Lock, and Drop It record. It was Baby Huey. Yeah. And so he connected me, boom, bam. And I took that to Memphis, too. Those are his only two big-ass records. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Now, everything, I mean, that's my dog. Memphis do his thing. But those were his two success stories. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then, okay, I got played again because I was supposed to get cut in from the label side. Not from Huey's side because I didn't know Huey. Right. I just I heard something.
In Memphis.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, TJ. Because most people, when things don't go their way or it gets too hard, they're out. Like, what is it in your head that made you say, nah, again, I'm not stopping. I'm gonna go find the next artist. Like, you never quit. Where did that come from in you?
To be honest, bro, it's just in me, and I can't. Ain't nothing I can do. I've tried to quit this shit, man, so many times, and every time I can, it's like It's like, this is what I put on earth to do.
Right. But if you would have stopped there, then it wouldn't have been B.o.B. It wouldn't have been K-Camp. It wouldn't have been Tribeca. So tell me, where did B.o.B. come from?
B.o.B. came from, I did the Ozone Awards in 2006. That was my first Ozone Awards. Me and Julia Beverly started the Ozone Awards. We did 3 years, 06 Orlando, 07 Miami, and 08 Houston. Matter of fact, 08 Houston is where Trader Truth punched Mike Jones in the mouth. That was the first time that Bun B and Pimp C, first time they performed together after Pimp got out of jail. I mean, there's so many firsts, but so after the 06, that first one we did, that next weekend I came to Atlanta, it was a core DJs retreat. So I came up here for that, and then it ended, so I just stayed an extra day. And then my boy DJ Funky, OG DJ, been breaking records forever. Matter of fact, Funky sprung up here for me. You know what I'm saying? Funky was the first dude having it. That's when Strokers was the spot, and everybody would come to Strokers. But Funky called me bitching, told me, man, you don't hang out with me no more. You don't fuck with me. And so I'm like, okay, where you at tonight? He said, I'm at Club Crucial. I was like, okay, I never been there. But send me the address and I'm going to come hang out with you. So I went to the club. I went to Crucial that night. Crucial was T.I.'s club. It was kind of in the hood. But I went to Crucial. And I just went because of Funky. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was an open mic and performances. I just went to go hang out with Funky. And so as I'm there, I'm doing my own thing and this group's performing, but I'm not paying no attention, at all. I'm just talking, drinking, whatever, smoking, boom. That didn't sound right. I was about to say boom. But yeah, so, and then this kid performed. And he got my attention for whatever reason. So next thing I know, I never seen him, heard before, but I'm singing the song like I knew it. And then I waved my hand side to side. And so it's like, I'm looking at myself like, okay, what the fuck you doing? And, but all I can see, as I'm looking at him on stage, at first I'm asking people who's dude. They don't know who he is. Okay, what's this song? They never heard of it. And I'm like, how is it that I'm here in Atlanta and ain't nobody up here know who this kid is? But all I can think of in my mind is, this is my makeup for T-Pain. This is my makeup for T-Pain. That's all. That I knew what it was when I seen it. You know what I'm saying? And so I went down and hollered at him, asked him his name, asked him if he had management. He told me yes. He was like, boom, that's my manager. So then I, came up to him. I talked to his manager, laughed. He was laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? He was like, why you want to fuck with him now? I was like, what you mean? I don't know this kid. I never seen him in my life. Like, why? What you mean? He was like, yes, you do. I used to always send you his music. I was like, I don't know this kid, man. No, he was a part of a group called The Clinic. And so he would always send me the music and try to pay me to work it, but it sucked.
So break that down for me. You said the publishing deal was too small. What do you mean?
Well, he offered $30,000
for his whole publishing.
For Bob's publishing, and that wasn't
sufficient at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, from my understanding, he went back to the label and, told the label that Bob wasn't a star or something. So then that was it.
So he looked at him as a writer.
Yes. And so after that meeting, I remember sending the music. After I met him, Bob just started sending me music. I said, send me some songs. So he sent me 2 songs, and they were jamming. And then he sent me, a few days later, he sent me some more. And I'm just like, okay, where these come from? And he was like, I just made them. I'm just like, okay. He was totally self-sufficient. He knew how to record himself. He knew how to produce. He rap, everything. And so I was just blown away from these songs. So then that's when I hit my man Rock. Rock worked for T-Pain. T-Pain's management was Mike Blumstein. And so Rock and Mike worked together. But Mike also managed Jim Johnson, the super producer, back then. And so Jim had a label deal with Atlantic.
Yeah.
He ended up getting that off Pretty Ricky, and then the Trick Daddy and Lil Jon. Jim produced that, and I mean, mega hits. You know what I'm saying? And so Jim had a label deal. So I sent it to Rock. Rock played it for Mike, and Rock played it for Jim. And then they hit me like, "Yo, this is it. I want to bring y'all down."
What was it?
It was just the music. It wasn't even a song. It wasn't even about a single. It was just super creative, different shit that ain't nobody heard.
B.o.B.
Yeah. And it was like he was on some Martian shit. But so he was like, "We want to fly you down."
Yeah.
So they flew us down to Miami, met with everybody, and they was like, Bob's the shit.
Yeah.
And they wanted to sign him. But they had their deal through Atlantic. So Jim went ahead and hit Craig like, "Yo, I want to sign Bob. We want to bring him up for a meeting."
Right.
So we kind of backdoored the whole Mike Cameron.
Right. Well, most people don't know Atlantic is kind of split. You have Mike Cameron's Atlantic and you have Craig Calvin's Atlantic. You know what I mean? So,
No, they don't. I mean, once you deal with it, you know.
Then you know, right.
But just somebody, young, hungry artist, they don't understand. They have no clue how this stuff works. So we went down there. Jim wanted to sign him. He hollered at Craig, and they said, "We're going to New York."
Mm-hmm.
But while we was in Miami, Jason Jeter kept calling because they was trying to sign Bob.
Wow.
And but they were dragging with the contracts and paperwork. And so Jim and them was like, "Yo, fuck this. Y'all not leaving until we go to New York." Right. So they made us stay in Miami, put us up, bought clothes. We didn't go down there
for all that.
You know what I'm saying? So they made us stay in Miami, put us up until the meeting in New York.
Yeah.
And then we went up, met with Craig and the whole office. Mike wasn't even there, but the whole team was there. And Bob performed in the office. And after he performed, Craig was like, "I just got one question. Who's the attorney? Let's do it.
Let's get it."
And they all tripped us because Craig hadn't signed somebody on the spot like that before. You know what I'm saying? And they did the deal. And it was October 3rd, 2006.
Wow.
I saw Bob that night, August 14th, 2006. So the deal was signed basically 6 weeks later.
I was just going to say, it's like less than 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. And then we all know what happened from there.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until 2010 when Adventures of Bobby Ray and Nothing on You came out. So we had been grinding for 4 years. I'm talking, he dropped, in those 4 years before Adventures of Bobby Ray, we did 6 tours, dropped 7 mixtapes. So the foundation was totally being laid for the records to come behind.
Right.
And when we finally had the records, the shit just went poof.
Out of here.
And everybody thought it just came out of no place, but they didn't realize the groundwork that it took even to build it for it to take off like that. I lost my car.
Behind it.
B. Rich lost his daycare, his house. Bob lost his car, his house that he bought with his advance from the deal. And so we lost everything. And it was just really a matter of staying down and loyal to each other and believing until the shit blew the fuck up.
And you still with him to this day.
Mm-hmm. August 14th will be 14 years. It was iconic to me. So I met with dude. First I met with the CEO of the label because that's who had reached out.
Okay.
And I met with the CEO of the label. And then it just seemed like, it felt good, but then it seemed like all of a sudden I went someplace else, seen him, met with him again, and then met with him again. But the next time, it was here during BT, and so he took me to the Def Jam party. You know, the whole staff introduced me to the A&R 2 but all the staff, the staff over there knew me.
Yeah.
And they were happy to see me, and they was like, "Yo, TJ, we really need you.
Right.
He's a Florida Southern dude. You know, this is your shit. We need you to be part of the project."
Right.
And so I went ahead and jumped on. But when I jumped on, first thing I noticed was like Def Jam went too fast at everything, and they didn't build the record properly.
Okay.
So they went to radio, but no foundation was really laid.
Right.
And so they burnt the record out fast as shit.
I totally understand.
You know what I'm saying? They burnt that shit out fast as shit because they didn't build it. You know, it's like when I say foundation, you got to think of. I use this example. It's like a house. You know, how can you put a roof up on a house without any foundation and support? The roof can't do nothing but fall, and that's the same way with these records. And so all you artists looking to go to radio, like that's the shortcut. But if you do that before building it, you have no chance. And when it comes to records, the time clock really don't start ticking on a song until you take it to radio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so if you don't never take a record to radio, then that bitch can live
and
like better off.
And eventually blow up. And I was just finna get into the way I learned that lesson was a little bit. Because at that time we were so hot. I thought we were so hot that we could just go straight to radio, but we never built the club foundation first.
Like we did with the other record.
And the record ended up fizzing out, and that's why that record is only gold instead of platinum. If we would have built it won't go. If we would have built platinum, I got you. If we would have built the club foundation, that record would have lasted longer and would have grew larger. And so I learned that lesson the hard way. So you said
I switched them to my guy.
Well, what do you mean by just putting up numbers? Because some people might not understand that, but back then, I didn't.
Okay, all you artists out there, everybody wants radio. You know, nowadays there's so many other avenues, but everybody wants radio. So it's like you want radio play. How do you get radio play? Well, you come up with a budget. You pay a radio promoter, and he pushes your music to these stations. When I say put numbers on the board, a lot of people don't understand, like, okay, you talk to this person, you're going to come up with a budget, you're going to ask them, okay, what am I going to get for this budget in return? They're telling you, okay, well, we're going to take the record up to 100, 125 spins a week, or whatever, 500, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you like, okay, cool. And they go out, they work the record, or it appears to be worked.
Yeah.
And they're sending you BDS and media-based reports the way that they monitor radio play.
Right.
And so you're seeing this, and you're seeing, okay, well, man, I got all these spins on this station. I got all these spins. But what they don't show you is the full report.
Right.
The full report's going to break that down into day parts.
Overnight, AM.
And so what you don't see is, you've seen that your record has spins, but what you're not seeing is that that's playing between 3 to 6 in the morning, 2 to 6 in the morning when ain't nobody fucking listening to the radio.
Basically empty calories.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how a lot of artists, to be honest, that's how a lot of artists get beat, because you don't even have that knowledge to know that. So when I actually looked, all y'all spins were overnight. So it wasn't no traction. And so, okay, he was getting paid and he's showing you numbers, but none of it was sticking. Right. And so if you didn't re-up with him, then you had no numbers because it wasn't really real.
Right. Mm-hmm. So when you came to Trap Beckham, you built the DJ.
I came back and laid the foundation.
Yeah.
Because it was burned. They burned it out fast as shit on radio.
Yeah.
So I came back and helped lay the foundation, make sure all the DJs had the record, doing the DJ stuff. Even though DJs aren't as important anymore in a lot of people's minds, they're not the only way like they used to be. Without the DJ playing you back in the day, then you wouldn't get heard in the club, you wouldn't get heard in the radio, none of that stuff. Nowadays, there's so many other options, but people still go to the club. And people still listen to the radio.
Gotcha.
You know, so it's like, for me, though, that's still valuable. I don't know which way a song is going to break, but I'm shooting myself in the foot if I don't at least try all the different routes.
Amen. Okay, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if it's going to be the DJs. I don't know if it's going to be a TikTok campaign. I don't know if it's going to be YouTube video. I don't know if it's going to be the streaming on Spotify.
That's why you got to hit all those marks.
And to see what's going to take, what's going to catch. Maybe all of them will. Maybe only one of them will, and then you have to twerk that to make the other ones work. So I'm still a firm believer in DJs with the music, and so with trap, we built the relationships with the DJs, and helped lay the foundation for the whole record, and then the stuff after that. One of the big things that really helped the record was it being placed in the season finale of Insecure.
Sinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when Insecure was the shit.
Right.
All the women watched that.
Right.
And so when it played, it was the season finale, and it had a great scene.
Yeah.
And man, that should help the record a lot.
Tremendously. Like one of the major keys, if you're fortunate enough to be able to land a sync, that sync can really break your record. It can make your record be 5 years old, but this is the first time they're hearing it, and that'll shoot you to the moon. So I mean, syncs are very powerful.
I mean, people, and not to interrupt you, and jumping back to B.o.B, like that was one of the only things we had going for us in a 4-year period before the adventures of Bobby Ray was our licensing. Yeah. So we had songs in Grand Theft Auto, Fight Night, NBA Live.
Wow.
The Nintendo Christmas commercial was to B.o.B song.
And how did you come about those?
The label.
The label?
Mm-hmm.
So you just heavy on their sync department then, stayed on their ass. And sometimes you got to do that. You got to stay on every and anybody on your team ass to make sure what you need done, get done.
But as far as y'all artists, you got to understand there's so many ways to make money. And there's so many revenue streams out here. But all y'all be focused on the same thing, making money off shows. Like, get out here and figure out these alternative streams alternative streams of income where you can at least make money to put gas in the tank to keep going until you finally get there.
It's a marathon. Okay, so TJ, I want to go into a segment, our final segment, that I go over with every guest. It's called the 3 keys. And it's knowledge, wisdom, and routine. Because I feel like any successful person has these 3 things. And so when it comes to knowledge for you, TJ, what was the book that you feel like was life-changing?
I mean, for me, my music Bible is the Donald Passman book, All You Need to Know About. I get it confused. All you need to know about the music business. But it's by Donald Passman. That's my Bible. I highly recommend everybody read that. But something else for me that kind of kicked in, and it has nothing to do with music, but I remember when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
And the assets and liabilities and, you know what I'm saying? And that actually opened up my mind and made me look at stuff a total different way and how I operate, and even with people. Yeah. People are assets and liabilities. So, but I learned a whole lot from those books.
Okay. So for wisdom, what do you feel like was one of your biggest mistakes that wisened you up?
One of my my fucking biggest mistake is in trusting in people. And that doesn't always hold true. Yeah. But man, in trusting in people, to have your best interests in mind, or to be loyal to you, or to look out for you.
So how do you feel like you remedy that? Is that contracts, or what does that look like?
I mean, contracts are good, and I highly suggest that to anybody. I ain't gonna tell y'all how I move, but I highly suggest you always get your stuff on paper, man, because people out here are shady, but sometimes you'll find people that are actually good people, loyal people, and do care about your best interests and everything like that. But it just changed how I dealt with people, because I've always been, I'm just a good, I'm biased, so I think I'm a good dude. Yeah. But I trust in people, man, and that ain't always the best shit to do.
Got you. And then lastly, routine. Every successful person has things that they live by. what do you feel like is one of your number one habits?
Really, my number one habits is really the relationship building.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Just always getting out, always talking to people, always making myself visible and seen, and even more importantly, accessible to people. And so the relationship game for me is what's been everything, and that's really why I'm still in the damn business and able to move like I can.
Man, TJ, I appreciate you for sharing your information. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. My name is J.R. Mckee. I'm your host. Tune in next week for the next episode of Share Information. Love y'all.